I want to talk to you quickly about content curation, and the whole idea is to stay top of mind for your audience and to actually use content curation to always be relevant. Okay, so here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. Basically, it's tough getting your business or brand to stay top of mind for your audience, but if you are able to implement strategic content curation, you can really become the go-to industry source that your audience is looking for. Now, there is one problem though, because there is so much content, right? So much content. So that means what? It means that you got to really find a way to streamline your content production to also make sure the content is not only relevant for your audience but also adaptable to the changing trends in the industry. Okay, now this is a serious problem that content marketers have today because they have to compete more strenuously for the market's attention and have an advanced content ideation strategy just to keep up with their competitors, right? It's all about adding value. It's all about solving your audience's pain points. But what do you actually do? I mean, if you are trying to curate content, I want to first define what content curation means. So to some, content curation means carefully selecting, commenting on, and distributing the highest quality content created by others. But the content creation process can also involve creating owned content that is inspired by the quality content of others. Okay, so you can have it. You can actually source it from inside too. So now, why is content creation important? Well, content creation gives you the opportunity to raise your brand awareness, assert yourself as a thought leader, and most importantly, build strong connections with your audience. In many ways, when you really think about it, content creation is all about community, especially when you are sharing other people's ideas, and communities have each other's backs. So what happens here is that your own content will naturally do better if you've got a network of people personally vouching for it. And they'll do this for one of those two reasons: because of the value you add to their lives, or because you have actually done the same thing for them, right? So it's all about value adding, or it's all about reciprocity. So one thing I want to say is that when you think about staying top of mind with content curation, you got to think about the best ways to distribute curated content. Now, when it comes to distribution, it's all about your target audience's expectations, but also it's all about the vision you have for your content in the first place. The vision you had for your content, but also the strategy you have for curating your content. Okay, so before we get into the how-tos of a content curation, let's talk about the methods you can use to publish curated content. So basically, the primary distribution channels by order of difficulty are social networks, blog, and video. Okay, so in other words, videos are the least difficult, the easiest, if you will, and social networks are actually the most difficult channel. Let me break it down for you. So social networks, this is probably the easiest way to distribute content, but if you are in a very competitive niche, you might have more difficulties because curating here also helps you keep your social followers engaged with regular content. But the thing is that you have to think about quality over quantity. Don't actually just think about just publishing over and over and over just to keep your audience engaged. No, you want to keep quality. You want to actually keep publishing quality content that adds value to your audience's lives. And if you can do so, then they'll be following you. In terms of blogging, if you have a personal or a company blog, use curation to produce a blog post. And you got to have a strategy if you want to implement the right content curation strategy when it comes to blog post publication. Okay. And what about videos? Well, using platforms like YouTube or Vimeo, basically you can produce videos of curated content. Now the thing is that whether you should go with YouTube versus Vimeo, it really depends on the level of sophistication and also the level of let's say restriction, like rights restriction that you want to have. I mean, YouTube is more open, but you have more competition also, whereas Vimeo is more closed, if you will, and but you have less competition. So when you think about those staying top of mind for your audience with content curation, I really want to give you a clear idea of the types of content curation you want to focus on this year. Okay. Well, you have social media content curation, aka just plain sharing. So it doesn't get much more basic than this. So sharing an article on your social networks is actually the simplest and easiest way to begin curating content. And you are probably already doing a version of this. So it's really important though. I think I've said this before. Quality is more important than quantity. Okay. You need to remember that every piece of content that you share on your social channels should be a reflection of the kind of value you want to bring to your customers. Okay. What kind of pain points are you trying to solve? So you want to do more than just click the share buttons on an article. You want to say something valuable about the content you are sharing. So adding commentary, highlight a specific point in the article, or just introduce the topic to give your audience a reason to click through. Okay, so besides social media content curation, you also have newsletters and lists. Okay, and so it's one of those things where you have to really see what works for you. Let me give you a pretty good, pretty interesting story here. When a few years ago, when HubSpot bought the Hustle, a business and tech newsletter with over 1.5 million subscribers for an eye-watering sum, it made everyone sit up and take notice. A newsletter valued at 27 to 30 million dollars. That must be some quality content curation. Think about it. The Hustle curates business and tech news stories, but with a humorous twist, injecting human perspective and personality into each digest. So that's really the value adding here, the value adding process. Okay, and newsletters are clearly a super effective way to build an engaged audience around curated content. In fact, there are a growing number of hugely successful content marketing and SEO newsletters around right now. They are doing just brilliantly. Okay, so you got to really see, make sure that you choose the right piece of content that fits your audience. Newsletters are actually clearly super effective way to build actually an engaged audience. And now let me talk to you about lists. You can create lists to reference multiple sources of information instead of just one. From a social media perspective, it's as easy as finding several pieces of content you can link to, then listing out those links with your own opinions overlaid. Okay, easy, right? But how can you apply this same thing to your blog content? Well, actually, lists can be one of the biggest evergreen content tab on your website. As long as you have you can see new things you can add to your list that can provide value to your audience. You can continue to update it and keep it fresh. So this is really important. You also have distilled content. I'm just going through the types of content curation. So the distilled content is really pretty interesting too. As the name suggests, creating a distilled content means you just take the best points from different sources and curate them into one post. So this is actually perfect for today's world where content is being dished out nonstop. More content means more things you can just distill. For example, let's say you come across 5 different articles that talk about how to create social media buzz. You actually notice that they have similar points, but there are also things about them that are different, right? So to distill them, take the different points in their respective articles, create an entirely new piece, and add to it. And so this is kind of cool. And so the cool thing is that once you have a distilled format, you can publish it as a blog post because it tends to be more long form. You also have a crowdsourcing. So crowdsourcing is really cool also if you're trying to look for content curation. So this might be one of the best types of content curation that marketers can do. It has multiple benefits when done correctly. So to crowdsource, you want to ask multiple people a question and put their answers into one social post or one blog post. And when planning this type of content, remember that the goal is to ask topical influencers, people who are known experts in the topic area, because you do not want to just ask regular people about their opinions on a specific topic. I mean, their opinions do matter, but not as much that you want to share with others. So when you have topical influencers, you are able to have an epic mash of ideas from different people curated in one space. So the value you get from this types of curated content is insanely good. Because if you give out questions to a list of popular influencers from your industry, then you'll have a very powerful set of answers that a lot of people will trust and benefit from. And since the content actually is already done and laid out, crowdsourcing minimizes what you need to write. It also brings in automatic content amplification like word of mouth, social shares, and or backlinks. The people who have contributed will naturally want to share it since they are quoted in it and it makes them look good. So try it, it really works. You also have mapping. So best used with images and popularized with the term mind mapping. This type of content allows you to collect and organize various elements on a specific topic, then show how all the key components define the topic as a whole. So this is kind of cool, okay? And especially if done right. All you need to do is choose a specific topic, gather the components that make that topic whole, and toss them together in a way that explains everything using a few short words. And there you go. You have an amazing piece of content that can serve multiple uses. So that's really fantastic. Let me talk to you about the strategy here. So it's important to find the right content to curate. Okay, if you want to stay top of mind for your audience with content curation, you want to always start with your audience because everything revolves around your audience, what they like, what they are expecting, and what their pain points are. Okay, so the best tip that we can give you today in terms of finding the right content to curate is to really understand that you want to understand your audience. Successful content curation is hinged on good audience research. So whether you are creating a mashup of old content with a new spin, sharing a curated list of top resources, or even crowdsourcing a piece of content, you want to put yourself in the mind of your audience before you start curating. Think, who are they and what do they like? What content do they usually consume? Think about Swift, what's in it for them, and what do they really trust? So, an easy ways to get inside the mind of your audience and build intelligent, data-informed profiles is to actually see what questions they are asking around certain topics, okay? Number two, you want to know where to look. So, the word curate comes from the word of museums. People curate collections of valuable material. It's really helpful to keep in mind that for content curation, it's all about quality, okay? So you want to curate only high quality, attention-grabbing pieces. To do this, you need a source for content that's already popular and has good authority. And you can begin actually with the sites and blogs which you know are popular. And if you don't know any popular sites or need some help finding more, you can actually use a couple of tools to find more inspiration. For instance, you can use BuzzSumo, you can use Ahrefs, you can use KW Finder, you can use Twitter, now called X, you can use Reddit also, okay? So Twitter actually is a great source. It's a great source of relevant and trending content. It's what's happening right now culture that makes it a prime place for trending articles, memes, or news, okay? And you simply want to head over to the Explorer tab on desktop or mobile. There you will find the day's trending topics. You can also see a What's Happening panel on the right-hand side of your newsfeed. So that's really good. Next, I want you to think about the fact that you need to write the trends your way. Okay, it's all about having, let's say, popular topics that really are important for your audience. Okay, and for that you have a couple of techniques. For instance, you have a newsjacking. You also have trend spotting. So when I speak about newsjacking trending topics is a great way to hook your audience on what's currently popular. So being first to the trending party will also give your curated content that exclusive edge. And trend spotting using the right tool means you can find the most popular and trending content based on keywords. And once you check what the current trending topics are and make sure that they actually fit your industry, then it's time to step back and look at what angles have not been covered. For example, if everyone is saying negative things about a new movie, do the opposite, write what's interesting about it. It might sound complicated at first, but again, you need to think outside the box in order to pull this off. Your audience doesn't need more of the same thing. They need a different angle, and only your voice can provide it. So it's one of those things where you got to ask yourself, how do you differentiate yourself from the others? Okay, and so you can also make sure that you pay attention to trending and trending topics. Trending comes with set categories for popular topics, and you want to make sure that you want to actually place your own spin on a trending topic. And also, you can use social network insights to curate new content. And social networks also face content saturation, but we're not afraid of that now, are we? Check out what's popular across all social networks to curate the best content and add your own spin to it, okay? And what you want to do is you want to really check out the top content across top social networks, including Facebook, Twitter, now called X, Pinterest, and Reddit. Just tap in your topic in the right tool. You want to hit the analysis tab and tweak each chart to compare networks to actually spot content gaps and opportunities across social platforms. Okay, and especially if you want to do this consistently, you'll be able to see opportunities, and you can also explore trends and content across platforms, see if there's some new distribution opportunities, and find the content that get the most engagement, so you can replicate what's working really. So that's really important from a scalability point of view. If you want to curate actually a content properly, you want to find also the top influencers. Okay, now it's important to understand that when I was speaking a little earlier about crowdsourcing, I spoke to you about influencers. Okay, and so finding the top influencers is actually very effective, because influencer marketing is a large part of today's digital world, and influencers are very popular in their industry for a reason. They draw they draw a huge crowds, and what they usually say moves a lot of people who follow them. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to leverage the power of influencers by creating a curated post with multiple influencers talking about a certain topic. Do this well, and you could start attracting new followers by the truckload. And so this is kind of cool. And so you want to really you want to have the right tool to find top influencers for a certain topic or industry. Not only does this strategy allow you to see the top influencers for a specific niche, it also shows you what types of content they share via like on their pages. Okay, this is immensely valuable data. You want to curate a post featuring these influencers, and you will have a high chance of being shared by influencers. And this search also allows you to dive into all the influencers sharing content from a specific domain, let's say a quality publisher, to give you even more ideas of quality content to curate in the first place. And so this is kind of cool. What you want to do, but you have to do this on a consistent basis. If you want this to be successful, you have to be consistent. Okay. So overall, in terms of closing thoughts here, I want you to remember that content curation is actually a powerful strategy you can use to grow your audience and continually prove to them that their attention is well spent on you. Okay, and it's one of those things where this goes back to what I was telling you earlier, that consistency actually wins the game over time, because this is how you are going to establish credibility. This is how you are going to establish validation by consistently publishing quality content. In conclusion, in today's conversation, I was speaking to you about how to actually stay top of mind for your audience with content curation. I gave you the overview, the typology, the strategy, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.